Hello, my name is Chloe Knox. Today I'm going to be discussing fractures, exercise, and a little bit about the composition of bone. So adult bones do grow in response to weight-bearing exercise. This is because the stress results in tiny microfractures within the bone, and the calcium deposits then initiate osteoblasts to form new bone. This is going to be appositional growth and not interstitial because the bone is growing in width and not length. So within appositional bone growth, you can see that the osteoblasts are forming new bone and the osteoclasts on the inside of the bone are consuming the bones. What effect does weightlift exercises have on bones? So within spongy bone, there's going to be an increase in density and bone remodeling. High load weight-bearing stress increases bone mass. So weightlifters are going to have a much higher bone mass than runners would. A sedentary lifestyle causes an imbalance in bone remodeling because those osteoblasts are not forming bone as fast as they should be. And physical activity and mechanical stress is a necessity for healthy bones. The American Heart Association recommends these amounts of exercise for different age ranges. As you can see, the children, they're recommended they get a lot more exercise just because their bones are at a critical stage of development and they need that mechanical stress. For ages 65 and up, it's the same as adults, but you also want to incorporate balance and flexibility so they are at a lower risk of falling. Tension and compression in bone fractures. So bone is made to withstand a good amount of pressure. It's made of calcium salts, so the bone is calcified, and collagen fibers, which are a very strong fiber. It's also composed of concentric rings composed of tapunae where the osteocytes are housed. The diaphysis is the shaft of the bone and it's very hollow. The bone is stronger along its long axis. So when pressure is applied only to the shaft of the bone, it's going to be at a much higher rate for fracture, especially transverse fracture, because that pressure placed on the shaft alone could cause a slight bend in the bone, and it's not as strong as it would be along its long axis. So these are examples of a transverse fracture. As you can see, a closed fracture would not require surgery, but an open fracture would. What is osteoporosis? It's going to be a medical condition with the weakening of bones and a loss in density. As you can see, the osteoporosis bone, it's a lot more porous. It's not as strong. And causes would be bone remodeling imbalance, hormones, age, or just an unhealthy lifestyle. Exercise recommendations will include strength training, balance, flexibility, and core strength. This is because you want them to have a large amount of stability to decrease their rate of falling, but you also want to put a light, not a heavy load onto their bones. You also want to avoid high impact because high impact puts weight-bearing bones at risk. So because of the hip bone's position within the body, there's going to be a higher risk for it than a shoulder bone would because the hip bone is placed within a lot of